all those who actually deserve the honor rather than me. You know, they always listen to all these things and say, well, maybe this is what I did, but I really did not do it. It takes a community, and it takes God's help. And without the Lord's help, no one of us can do anything. And so I thank God, and I thank one who actually helped me a great deal. She's always in the background. Her name is Riyad. Chicago, they gave Chicago bad names. Al Capone, gangs, terror, all this kind of thing. We don't have earthquakes. We don't have fires. We don't have droughts. We don't have floods. And we don't have people that make problems as they gave us that bad name. All of you know that you are in a Chicago that has the beautiful Coptic community. And I thank God for our Coptic community in Chicago, because it's very good. Yeah, sometimes we dream, and our dreams sometimes be good and sometimes will be nightmares. But the good dreams usually come to the Christian by the Holy Spirit. And no wonder at the day of Pentecost, you find St. Peter, his first talk after the Pentecost, after he had the Holy Spirit, he says what Joel the prophet said, all people will dream dreams, and your young people will see visions, as if the dreams are the most important thing for a person who is truly Christian and is led by the Holy Spirit. Why I'm saying this? Because without the dream, life will become barren. And what you actually dream about is things you see in the future. And you realize that this cannot be done unless God will help you and you do something in order to do it. And I want you today to, where is the slides? I can't read, you know, and I always have Priya read for me because I had problems with my eyes, but she was my eyes for the last 20 years. You see, the thing is very important. There is somebody who dreamt about doing something for the poor. And I give you tonight 4 examples of people that helped us in Egypt quite a bit, and they were dreamers. And try to move slides as I talk. I'm not reading from anything. Okay? So the first lady was Lillian Hunt Thrasher. Lillian Thrasher, everyone from Asyut knows her. But this little girl was born in 1887, and she was dreaming as a young kid, and went to Bible school, Bible college for 1 term and quit, and then worked in an orphanage. And then about when she was 22 years old or so, in 1910, she attended a conference that one of the missionaries that worked in Asyut, probably an American missionary, was talking at a conference about Asyut, Egypt. So she decided that this is where her dream would take her. Here is a little girl. She even earlier that year she was engaged, but she said to her betrothed, what do you call him? Fiancé. Today we call him a boyfriend. She told him about her dream in missionary. He did not agree. So she broke the engagement and said, well, forget about marriage. And she then looked at the verse in the Old Testament about my people in Egypt who are oppressed. Of course, the verse is about the Israelites in Egypt. But this verse captivated her. Asyut and my people in Egypt oppressed. So she took her younger sister, Jenny, and they sailed to Egypt. When they sailed to Egypt, she went to Asyut straight because their church, I don't know the name of the organization, had some missionary in Asyut. She goes to Asyut, and then the first work, a grandmother who is dying and have in her hand a malnourished young kid who actually was about to die too. So the woman, the grandmother died. She took this as the first orphan that she took care of. And then this lady continued from 1911 till 1961. 50 continuous years working in Asyut. Everyone in Egypt knew Lillian Treasure. And at that time, when she finished, she had in an orphanage 1,200 children. This is the first dreamer that I have for the night. Second dreamer, I know a lot about him because I was actually his friend, and he is my father, and we actually had learned a great deal from Bishop Samuel, whom I knew him as Sa'd Aziz, even before he became a monk. Now, he was a visionary. He was a dreamer. And I don't want to go into the whole litany of things that he dreamed and did, but the one thing that pertains to tonight is that he said there is a community of Copts that are living in the shadow of society. They are so badly taken care of. Those Zabbalin, the trash collectors in Cairo. By the way, at that time, the Coptic community didn't know much about them. And not only that, they were mainly Copts. The people اللي بيفرزوا الجبال في المقطم. He directed the attention to them. He brought money from outside. He was very good in bringing money from outside organizations to Egypt. And then he took care of them. The first one to take care of them on any large scale, spiritually, educationally, and emotionally and financially. And that was the beginning of directing the attention to Zabbalin. Then we moved to the third dreamer. Third dreamer was Mama Maggie. Of course, this is only example because there are so many, but these are the ones that captivated my attention. Mama Maggie is Maggie Gobran. Maggie Gobran comes from a wealthy family, affluent, was educated very well and became a professor of the computer sciences in the American University in Cairo. She, all of a sudden, again, was captivated by her dream, and she said, I quit all this academia and all this wealthy thing, and I'm now a consecrated servant in the Coptic Orthodox Church. And she goes and take care of what you call Stephen charity. And before you know it, she is now being awarded all kinds of awards. I think some of them are written there. She was named as one of the most important 100 women in the world by BBC. She another international award here, and she did not care about that because she was a humble woman. We saw her a couple of times in Chicago, and as a matter of fact, all of a sudden, I know everybody wants to be a relative, somebody important, but it's true. She's a relative of Rifat And then we see the fourth dreamer. Fourth dreamer, I'm sorry that she's sitting here tonight, but what can you do? This little girl, her mother and father came to the United States as immigrants, and she's the first wave of the first generation here. She came, and she's a little girl between another two girls. You know how it is when you only have girls in your family. You think that you lost because you don't have any boys. Look at Abuna Theodore, Abuna Moawad. You see, she was educated as engineer, and then she started working, I think, in the State Department. She went to the embassies, and of course, probably because of her Arabic, I don't know, she, all of a sudden, 1988, she's stationed in Cairo, in the American embassy in Cairo. And at that time, Cuba struck, and she found her future husband. And then, in the same time, she wants to see the poor people. She goes to an orphanage. She's captivated by this little girl. So what does she do? She plans her wedding. As you can see here, the maids of honor are the 45 kids that started Coptic orphans. I'm sorry, I was in the United States at the time, and I heard about this wonderful wedding that is totally unorthodox. It's orthodox, but it's unorthodox. The maids of honor, not those nice damsels, but this nice little innocent kids. This 45 kids started what is known as Coptic orphans 34 years ago. She comes to the United States. Here's the first generation immigrant, and she tries to do something more than just an orphanage. Comes up with the idea, and then she organized a very well organized thing. As a matter of fact, I don't know how she did it, in spite of many resistance to her. Many resistance. But she calmly smiled and answered. And doesn't lose her nerve. I don't know why, because we in Egypt are bloody. She doesn't have that. And then, by the time we come to this year, she served 75,000 of kids. And as you heard before from Dr. Kamal Ibrahim, it's taking care of everything in the life of these poor kids. All the education, everything, even top others from the world. But the thing is that while she is doing all this, going from one place to another, she excited the whole Coptic community in the whole globe. Australia, I don't know if she goes to New Zealand or not, she said yes. And North America, Canada, and Europe, And of course, the recipients are in Egypt. Now, you know, poverty in Egypt, as I saw it in the internet, as of 2021, is about 30%, 30.1 or something percent. About 1/3 of the Egyptians are below the poverty level. And there is right now in Egypt 1,700,000 of orphans. So you can do the math and you'll find that the orphans in Egypt are something like 250,000. Of course, I'm not exactly doing the math right, but about that much. And now try to figure out how much she did and how much she still has to do. She will not rest before she reaches every Coptic orphan in Egypt. And for that, we try to emulate her. I think the reason we're here tonight, not for me or for anybody else, because you all have contributed quite a bit to the church, to God, to society, but we are here to excite the young people, to be dreamers. Your dream will work. See, when you are young, you must dream, because it starts with dreaming. And when you're a kid or you are dreaming, don't stop. Keep dreaming, but don't stop at that. Act on your dream with passion. Have passion to the idea so that you can get to know what to do. Then act boldly. Ask for God's help, because without Him you cannot do anything. And I guess some people don't hear me. But I happen to have a big voice. Anyway, this is the message tonight for all of us, for myself and for all of you. When you dream, act boldly, and I'm directing this more to the second and third generation. Here is a good example and a good role model, and she's no different than any one of you. Act on your dream. Don't let anything stop it, even marriage. And glory be to God.